Alright, the goal for this video is to continue to learn about the number system and number lines, but we are going to talk more about inequalities and comparing negative numbers to each other and to positive numbers. So the first thing that they want you to do is look at these football helmets and the footballs. They want you to write at least 3 statements comparing the pictures above. You could write about how many there are versus each other. If you put them on a number line, which one would be furthest to the right, which one would be furthest to the left, and maybe think of one on your own. So I'll give you about 45 seconds to do that. Alright, so you should have about 3 done by now. Let's continue. Numbers can be compared by writing, if you remember from the previous video, we call these inequality statements. And remember, those are less than, greater than, equal to, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. We'll mainly stick with these 3. These will come later in the year, so we probably won't use the less than or equal to or greater than or equal to statements. We'll mainly stick with these 3. So then it says write 2 inequality statements about each of the number lines below. So for number 1, I have 1 at 1 and 1 at 5. So I know 1 is less than 5. Now to write my second statement, all I'm going to do is switch the order. So 5 is greater than 1. For number 2, I have negative 1 and 3. Well, negative 1 is less than a positive 3, and positive 3 is greater than negative 1. Okay, if I look at number 3, I have negative 5 and negative 3. Well, negative 5 is less than negative 3. The one that's furthest to the left is always going to be less than the one that's furthest to the right. And negative 3 is greater than negative 5. So again, here we have the least. Negative 4 is less than 0. And 0 is greater than negative 4. So hopefully that was pretty self-explanatory. Let's look at it. And here we have inequalities can also be interpreted to make a written statement. So it says translate the inequality to a written statement. This is very similar to writing out number sentences, but I would say negative 15 is less than negative 3. Negative 3 is less than 8. Negative 9 is greater than negative 21. Negative 1, oh, not supposed to rewrite that, I'm supposed to write it in words, is greater than negative 2. Okay, so if I look at this, negative 7 is less than negative 6 on a number line. Here's negative 10, here's 0, negative 9, negative 8, negative 7, negative 6. I'm going to stop right there because I just need those 2. Negative 7 is located to the left of negative 6 on the number line. Okay. It says place the numbers on the number line and then describe the relationship between the 2 points on the number line. So again, negative 10, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 9. So I know that negative 3 is to the right of negative 9. Or you could have written negative 9 is to the left left of negative 3. So again, 0, negative 3, negative 2.5, and here's 0. So negative 2.5 is to the left of 0. 14 thirds. Well, I actually need to turn that into a mixed number. So I know 3 can go into 14 right off to the side here 12 times. Or I'm sorry, not 12 times, 4 times. Holy moly. That would be 12. I would have 2 left over. Denominator stays the same. So that's 4, and I'm looking at 2. Okay, so I have 4 and 2 thirds. This actually should be greater than 2. I don't know why they have that there. So make sure you switch that inequality sign, because 4 and 2 thirds is greater than 2. So here's 2, and you know 4 is greater. So 4 and 2 thirds is to the right of 2. Again, I want to make sure I have these in the same format. So I'm going to change this into a decimal. So 15 divided by 4. That can go in there 3 times. I would have 3 remaining. So my answer is 3 and 75/100. Now, where would 3 and 7/10 go? Well, that's like saying 3 and 70/100. So here's 2, here's 3, 3 and 70/100. 3 and 75/100 is actually going to be closer to 3. So you can write that 3 and 70/100 is to the left of 3 and 75/100. Now here we're going to write inequalities. Write an inequality to compare the two rational numbers and then describe their relationship between the 2 points on the number line. So negative 5 halves. Again, we want to get these into the same form. That's improper. So 2 can go into 5 twice with 1 left over. So negative 2.5 is going to be greater than negative 6. You can use a number line if you need help, or you will write negative 5 over 2 is to the right of negative 6. Here we have numbers in the same form. Negative 9 and 15/100 is, what do you think? Negative 9 and 4/10. 4 is going to be closer to 10 than 1. And 1 is going to be closer to 0 than 4. So you would write negative 9 and 4/10 is to the left of negative 9 and 15/100. So negative 9 and 4/10 is less than negative 9 and 15/100. And if you need to, go back. Please take a moment and summarize today's lesson about comparing positive and negative numbers using inequalities. And after that, get started on the homework sheet that is attached.